Welcome on back to Skippers. Today I'm going to do a weekend recap to some of my fantasy baseball takeaways from the game on opening weekend. I was in late from St. Louis yesterday watching the Blue Jays, so you are in my bedroom. Today's episode, once again, sponsored by So Rare MLB. Do not forget to definitely subscribe, definitely join the Discord, keep on watching these videos. We're going to have a bunch for you this week. Let's get into some of my takeaways. First player I want to talk about is going to be Nolan Gorman of the Cardinals. He is 34% rostered. Over the weekend, he is only 22. The 22-year-old only went 4 for 9, 2 home runs on Sunday, 6 runs batted in. He had 4 walks and only 2 strikeouts. Obviously, the big 2 home runs Sunday are going to get everyone in baseball, if you're paying attention, they're going to notice him. But the fact that he was in the lineup all 3 games against righties, he hit 5 on Fridays because Contreras is out with that knee injury. There's a ton of left-handed hitters on the Cardinals bench as well. They have Lars Nootbaar not playing some of these games as well. But I think the Cardinals really believe in Nolan Gorman. You should want a piece of one of the best lineups in baseball. Over 162 game pace last season, Nolan Gorman projected for about 25 home runs. This is a really good player and a nice pickup if you need middle infield help. There's a couple nice guys for middle infield help there as well with Brendan Donovan, another guy that I like a lot. But Nolan Gorman, I think, is for real. He's going to get the runway and a really good Cardinals team. And again, I don't know. It's kind of like a Braves lineup as well. You want to have a piece of one of these guys. You want to have a piece of one of these teams. So I like someone you can pick up. Someone you need to look at right here is going to be Nolan Gorman of the Cardinals. Second player I want to talk about is Logan O'Hoppe of the Angels. He is 13% rostered. He is a catcher. And thanks to a Max Stassi hip injury, O'Hoppe started the season as the Angels opening day catcher. At this point, Max Stassi had a really tough season last year. If he can just keep hitting the cover off the baseball, he puts himself in an opportunity to be the starting catcher for the rest of the season. O'Hoppe started the season. He was hitting in the 9 hole. He's hitting the 8 hole in all 3 of the games. But he did so in those holes, going 4 for 10 with 6 runs batted in, including his first big league home run and an OPS over 1,100. I think you should manage some expectations on him, but he was a big piece. He was a huge prospect. He goes in that Brandon Marsh deal, which to me doesn't look so great. But if you are a Phillies catcher, you've seen it with Garrett Stubbs. There's no real reason for you to be there because JT Realmuto, barring an injury, is going to be playing a majority of those games. I think he can be a great ad if he continues to keep this up. Maybe they move him up in the lineup a bit. But if this Angels team should keep hitting the ball and O'Hoppe is an option and he's going to hit this well, I don't know why you shouldn't be looking at him. Maybe even pick him up for your fantasy teams. The star of opening weekend has been Adam Duvall of the Red Sox. He is now 58% rostered. He's the #1 ranked fantasy player on Yahoo after the first weekend of the season, and he absolutely raked against the Orioles. In his 3 games, he went 8 for 14. He had 2 home runs, drove in 8, and an OPS just under 2,000. Over the past few years, Duvall's been a guy in the top 10% exit velocity guy, and he's shown the ability to hit balls out of the yard. But I think a move to Fenway Park might be a match made in heaven for him. He's going to strike out at over 25%, but I think the RBIs and home runs can make him a perfect match for your fantasy baseball teams. Again, if you're in a deeper league, he's probably gone by now, but if you have some outfield help and you're in a shallower league with some of your buddies and they weren't paying attention this weekend, I think Adam Duvall is a good pickup. He leads the league in runs batted in, weighted runs created plus, and WAR after the first weekend. See if he can keep it up. But he was a talented player. He did hit a ton of home runs a couple seasons ago. Tough one last year, but Adam Duvall is a very good baseball player and he will figure it out. Today's video is brought to you by So Rare MLB. On So Rare MLB, you can build a fantasy baseball dynasty and win amazing rewards with So Rare's revolutionary fantasy MLB game. This game transforms baseball fans into general managers. Visit the marketplace to buy, sell, and trade digital player cards to boost your team and progress to advanced competitions with once-in-a-lifetime prizes like merch, game tickets, and VIP packages. So Rare is a free-to-play daily fantasy game where you score points based on the real-life performance of the players in your lineup. When you first sign up for So Rare MLB, you'll get to draft 10 common cards to begin your collection. You'll need to draft 3 starters, a relief pitcher, 2 corner infielders, 2 middle infielders, and 2 outfielders. You're able to enter into modified points league-based tournaments for each game week, where you're able to win prizes determined by how many points your roster scores. So Rare MLB uses a bi-weekly tournament schedule with each game week spanning a 3 to 4 day cycle. At the end of the game week, if your team performed well enough in your tournaments, you'll earn rewards in the form of new So Rare MLB cards to add to your collection and strengthen your team for the next tournaments. Make sure you click the link in our bio to start playing So Rare MLB today. Next thing I'm going to talk about is Jesse Winker of the Brewers. He's 36% rostered. Someone I didn't throw into my bounce back category, but he seems to fit the piece absolutely perfectly. Winker started 3 of 4 games hitting in the 2 hole for the Brewers. Pretty sure the only reason he didn't start the one game was the Justin Steele start against the Cubs, and they didn't throw him lefty on lefty, but he still came into the game later and got a base hit. I'm watching him play against the Mets right now as I was doing this video. He was 1 for 1 with a walk and a bloop to left to drive in the only run so far. Winker is a really good on-base guy and should benefit with a lot of run in the 2-hole. We talk about opportunities. He is going to have that in the 2-hole for the Brewers. He was in a weird situation last year. It was an unfriendly hitter's park, and I think a final change of scenery again to the Brewers here is going to be very nice for him. His launch angle last season was 7 degrees higher than the previous 3 seasons. If he gets back to the line drive approach, keeps taking those walks, he's going to be a pretty good fantasy asset. Again, 36% roster. Jesse Winker has shown that he can be a good fantasy asset. We saw it 2 seasons ago, but here he is back, Jesse Winker. Nice little surprise for me from the weekend was TREVOR LARNACH of the Twins. He's only 6% rostered. I was reading a Sports Edge article, and they said that without Alex Kirilloff injury, LARNACH probably doesn't even make this team. But he is on this team, and LARNACH has hit in the 4 spot every single game to start this season. In the series against the Royals, LARNACH went 5 for 11 at a 1.026 OPS, and he drove in 2 runs. Again, we like to talk about getting opportunities and volume, and LARNACH might just have that as if he continues to hit well in the 4-hole for a Twins team. That looks really good. I did take them to win their division. Nice start for them. Again, they haven't lost super early, of course, but I like what TREVOR LARNACH can do. He had 2 hard hit balls over 107 miles an hour yesterday, has an average exit velocity at 96 miles an hour. If he can still drive runs in, he'll get the run. I like TREVOR LARNACH as a guy to look at, maybe even pick up and stream for a little bit on your fantasy teams. And lastly, we go to the starting pitcher category. We go to MACKENZIE GORE of the Nationals. He is 16% rostered. He had a really good first start as a National, despite having 4 walks. He struck out 6 Braves over 5 1/3 innings. The velocity on every single one of his secondary pitches was up, and he had 32% called strike and whiff rate on the day. Gore threw 93 pitches and got whiffs on 33% of swings, and only had a zone contact percentage of 69% on his fastball. Usually you see closer to 80 if they're throwing fastballs in the middle and they're swinging at it. Most players are making contact. That's nice to see with MACKENZIE GORE's fastball not getting hit by a very good Braves team. If he's able to find some outs with swing and miss stuff while finding a way to limit walks, he could be a nice pickup for the rest of the season and a streamer. He showed some flashes last season with the Padres. I like MACKENZIE GORE. He's a touted prospect for a reason. Should he be able to throw strikes, keep the ball in the yard, I think MACKENZIE GORE might be a nice streamer or even a nice pickup for the rest of the season. Well, that's it. Those are some of my takeaways from opening weekend. I should be able to do this every single week if you guys like this style video, kind of recapping what happened. Some players, if you're not able to tune in to all of the games. Again, thank you So Rare for sponsoring the video. Don't forget to subscribe, join the Discord, and I'll see you guys soon.